Today we're going to be talking about Terrifier, the short from 2011. Now, you might know the whole legacy of Art the Clown, and if you don't, check out my videos on my channel. I talk about it a little bit.
Actually obsessed.
But I will say that there is a short of Terrifier with director's commentary. So I'm going to talk about a little bit some of the behind the scenes stuff that I have learned from the commentary. So we have Damien Leone, who is the writer, director, special effects artist for the Terrifier films, of course. But also Mike Giannelli. He played Art the Clown in the films before Terrifier from 2016. After that, it was played by David Howard Thornton. Marie Mazur, she stars as the leading woman in the Terrifier short. And if you have seen Terrifier 3, she has a very quick cameo. She's the receptionist at the clinic that Sienna is staying at. So while she has a really small part for fans like me, I was really excited to see her. Marie actually auditioned for a film they started on but never did finish, so Damien decided that he did want to use her in something, and he ended up using her in Terrifier. And I believe that they said this is her first time in a short. She might have been, an extra or something like that. And he said she was very real. She didn't give him any problems. Most of the short was actually filmed at Seaview Hospital. Damien's mom actually worked there, so she can give them access to places that they could use to shoot. Terrifier, the short, did win some awards. It was shown to some festivals. But Damien really believes in YouTube. Once he put the short on YouTube, it exploded. It went viral. He did say he believes in YouTube. If you put something good out there, people will find it. The only thing, and I do agree with this, it's so oversaturated right now, you really got to dig deep to find some good stuff. I'm hoping you find it here on my channel, by the way. Molly Maguire, she did production, costumes, makeup, all this stuff. And Damien actually met her first doing an NYU short. And he said, I'm working this other movie. And she said, you know what, my sister, Katie's an actress, so maybe you should contact her. And Katie Maguire is actually the one who is in All Hallows Eve playing the babysitter, and Monica Brown in the Terrifier film. So that's pretty cool. There's that connection there, which I was unaware of until I watched this short. She's not actually driving, but they were actually in a parking lot and they were just moving the car up and down, just pushing on it, and used some light gags to make it look like she was driving by some lampposts. I always like the behind the scenes information like that. This is when she's driving, we see Art on the side of the road like he's hitchhiking, holding up a sign that says circus, and Damien Leone actually said that he totally ripped that off of Creepshow 2.
Thanks for the ride.
And Damien actually shared a pretty cool bit of information. When she's driving, she nearly hits this white van that's coming towards her in the opposite lane. The way they film most of that is they actually park nose to nose and backed up, and then put the film in reverse, and it looks like they nearly crash. As our heroine, or victim, however you like to say, comes across this parked car, she gets out, and there's this mangled woman in the driver's seat. That's actually Damien's girlfriend, Jen. He's like, hey babe, can I cut up your face, for this film? So she had to sit through all the makeup doing that. I guess that's love right there. But did you know what actually inspired Damien to make that driver right there look that horrific? And I knew it. Because I spotted it. I called it. But actually, I will tell you that he got that inspiration from real life stuff, which is really smart. I don't know if any of you youngins remember this, but there was a pretty bad chimpanzee attack of this woman, and she does look very similar to that. That's where he took the inspiration from. He said that's what Art would do. Art doesn't shy away. He does the most horrific thing you can possibly think of. So I think that really worked for this character, because it is actually very frightening. I love all animals, and human beings have done worse things to other human beings, but I am terrified of chimpanzees. They're strong, and they will rip off your face and eat your fingers. Gross. I went a little sidetracked.
It happens sometimes.
The woman in Art, that's actually them. When you see the car moving, it's actually Damien Leone driving. The scene where Marie is hanging on a tree and it looks like she's in the middle of the forest, that very scene right there, he said it was filmed on a square foot pot, or just like one tree in the middle of a parking lot. The way they use simple techniques, I am really impressed by. I think that's a really great trick for them to share with people, because honestly, I am not a director, so I don't know how to do this stuff. But if I were, I love knowing the little tricks of the trade. And apparently filming that scene where she has the plastic over her face, Marie had a little bit of a freak out, according to them. Yeah, I would too. She actually felt like she was being suffocated. You know, I'm sure she knew in the back of her head that she's safe, she's not going to die. However, when it comes to stuff like that, that kind of plays tricks on your mind. You think, oh my God, I am going to die. Art was supposed to hack through the window with an axe. The property had been sold, and so they couldn't do that. And Damien Leone said that, oh, I bought all this breakaway glass. It didn't fit the window. So that's when they decided to have Art burrow under the earth like a mole. And ironically, Damien said that, well, we could have him hack through the door, but that's too much like Jack Torrance in The Shining. He said, I want to take inspiration, but I don't want to just copy it. And in Terrifier 3, we have the iconic Art looking through the door that he hacked through with an axe. Well, I say he's burrowing like a mole. Damien said it's more like a zombie coming through. That's what it was reminiscent of to him. So since the floor actually had a floor, it wasn't just dirt and leaves. They covered the floor of this shack with dirt and leaves. And he didn't mention there is a door there, but we didn't mess up. That door went to like a little closet. It didn't go out, so it's not like she was stupid and just sat there and didn't try the other door. So they're really thinking on their feet. This is all just within the day or two, something like that. I think he said that the day before or the day of this shot was supposed to take place, you know, where it was supposed to come through the window, but they decided, no, we'll just have him come through the floor. So they had to think pretty quickly, and it turned out pretty good. And on the flail, you'll notice a lot of terrible instruments like scissors and scalpel. Just the thought of a scalpel is just terrible. That's just terrible. But you'll also notice the hair. There's some braids on there, and that's actually the hair from Art's previous victims. The guy that's driving that picks up the woman as she's hysterical on the side of the road, he was a last minute addition. It was Katie's friend. She says, oh, he's great, you just get him. And Damien said that he had to give him very little direction, that the guy was a really good actor, and he was in it for a very short amount of time, which you might learn if you haven't seen the short, but he did a good job. And that one scene where you see Art kind of hover up, well, not hover up, I shouldn't say it that way. When Art gets up, that was actually an accident. When they're editing together that scene, it just worked out well, so they left that scene in there. And one of the best things about Art the Clown is his wild card.
You do that! That's just what I do! Wild card, bitches! What?
He will pull out a gun out of nowhere for no reason. You wouldn't think that the villain in a slasher film would just pull out a gun and shoot. He said, you know, you can't picture any of the other iconic slashers pulling out a gun and shooting somebody. That'd be stupid, but he felt like Art could get away with it, and I'm so glad he did. For some reason, I just love it. Near the end, she passes out after being in the accident, and she wakes up, and you have this false sense of security that maybe she's safe in hospital because she has a light in front of her. Seems like she's on a bed, Band-Aid on her face. She looks at the nasty, disgusting instruments and then turns her head to see Art sitting there, laughing silently and pointing at her that she is indeed not safe. Not only is she not safe, she has her arms and legs amputated, her breasts are removed, and she has these horrible carvings in her flesh. And if you happen to notice the word pig, that's obviously a reference to Charles Manson and the Manson cult family. Damien Leone said, you know, what could he do? What is the worst thing a man could do to a woman? And so he had Art do this to her. And it is a very disturbing end. People talk about how Terrifier 3, the beginning, and all these scenes are just so horrific, and it was bad. I mean, they didn't show anything explicitly, but the aftermath of a child being attacked. But if you had seen All Hallows Eve, you know what happens. And after seeing what happens to this girl in Terrifier, the short, this is probably the worst thing Art has ever done, in my opinion. Because he did all this just to be, you know, freaking cruel. So after seeing this and All Hallows Eve, it's kind of like everything Art does now is just old hat. I hope you get that reference to the coroner in Terrifier, but anyway.
Sweetheart, I've been doing this 22 years. Everything else is just old hat.
It's a really disturbing ending, and it is not a feel-good movie. This is not ending in a way that you think, well, maybe she'll be okay. Maybe she'll make it out. No, if that were me, go on and kill me. Just be done with it, dude. This is a nightmare. So Damien Leone did a really good job at making you feel very uncomfortable. There's actually another version where the girl woke up and her arms and legs were amputated, but she didn't have any nasty words carved into her. She still had her breasts, but they changed it up. They made it worse. After they filmed it, though, Damien thought it looked a little too clean, so they're like, we gotta mess up this body some more, and that's when he mangled her even more so. Messed her up good. So while I did give some behind-the-scenes stuff, it's really worth the watch to watch the director's cut of the Terrifier short. It's also a lot of fun hearing their accents. I love New York accents.
Forget about it.
And have you heard any behind-the-scenes facts that I did not mention here? If so, please let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I just love watching behind-the-scenes stuff, so check out Terrifier the short, and let me know what you thought. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.